Why was Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt? She could have been turned into any other thing, but why specifically salt? Now, salt has been used for the longest time for two key purposes. Number one, as a condiment, and number two, as a preservative. Now, when we look at these two words, it is not a coincidence that we have the word preservative, or preserve as it appears in Luke 17:33. Why would Jesus make reference of Lot's wife and then use the word preserve as a follow-up? Because the Old Testament is a shadow of the New Testament, hence, the Old Testament mostly used symbolism to convey its messages, and as such, salt here was used as a symbol of a type of anointing or protection power. So if salt indeed has preservative qualities, then maybe Lot's wife's story should not be centered on disobedience, but more on God's hand of mercy. How much was God willing to fight for Lot, or even Lot's wife, just to prove a point of mercy to Abraham? The Bible is very clear from the beginning that there was no chance that Lot and his family would have escaped the punishment of Sodom. Because if it was never for the angel that literally forced them out of the city, the story could have been different. They could have been buried under the iniquity of Sodom. But that was not the case. Lot had his own grave, and even his wife. Lot's wife's grave, as a matter of fact, is not in the iniquity or the shame of Sodom, but outside of the shameful city. So why a pillar of salt? Because salt is a preserver. Watch this. When God realized that Lot's wife had been caught in the temptations of Sodom, instead of allowing her to be drawn into those temptations, he then struck her into a pillar of salt. Meaning to say, when her weakness was great, God's mercy was even greater. Salt became a covering of her faith. She indeed lost her life, but because her faith was preserved, even her second life was too. When the infamous thief on the cross lost his life, it was his faith that preserved his life from a second perish. Otherwise, he would have experienced the fury fire, just like that of Sodom in Gehenna. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. God bless.